Hello, today's screencast is about health and disease and is part of the B1 topic of biology. Today's learning objective is to be able to define the term health and describe what communicable and non-communicable diseases are. Okay, can you please pause this screencast and have a go at the 12 questions that are all linked to the B1 topic? Okay, hopefully you've had a go at those now, so we'll go through the answers. Please mark them. Number 1, the four parts of the blood are the plasma, the platelets, the red blood cells and the white blood cells. Number 2, each part, what does it do? Okay, so the red blood cells carry oxygen, the white blood cells fight disease, the platelets help the blood to clot, and the plasma carries things like carbon dioxide, water, amino acid, hormones, proteins. Number 3, what is the job of an enzyme? An enzyme is a biological catalyst, so it will speed up chemical reactions. Number 4, an example of an enzyme is lipase, or protease, or carbohydrase. Number 5, what happens to enzymes in the body in high temperatures? They will denature. Number 6, an organ which is part of the digestive system, the stomach. Number 7, how are tissues formed? Tissues are formed when the same cells join together. Number 8, 2 adaptations of a sperm. They have many mitochondria, which enables lots of respiration to take place, which gives them lots of energy. Or you could talk about them having enzymes in their head, which will help them break into the egg. Or you could talk about the tail, which enables them to swim. Number 9, 2 adaptations of a red blood cell. Red blood cells have no nucleus, which gives more room for oxygen. Or you could say they have a biconcave shape, which means they've got a larger surface area for oxygen. You could also talk about the fact that they have a protein called hemoglobin, which oxygen can attach to. Number 10, arteries have thick walls so that they can withstand high pressure blood. Number 11, capillaries are found between arteries and veins. And number 12, what happens at a capillary? Gaseous exchange or substances exchange, so move from the blood into cells and vice versa. Okay. So moving on, what does the word healthy mean? The word healthy means free from disease. So we actually use it incorrectly in general discussion because we will talk about healthy being somebody who goes to the gym or eats healthily, when actually you could have somebody who is an elite athlete and if they've got a cold, they are not healthy because they are not free from disease. So health means free from disease. And a disease is a condition that is caused by any part of the body not functioning properly. And please note, this is not just physical health. This can also be mental health as well. So lots of people have diseases that are not visible, okay, and can be associated with their brain. We are now going to have a look at what communicable and non-communicable diseases are and examples. So please make sure you know these definitions. Now, a communicable disease is one that is spread between organisms. So you may hear of it as something that is contagious. Okay, but you have to explain it that it is one that can be spread between organisms and it is caused by harmful pathogens. So that would give you the 2 marks. If you just say that it's spread between organisms, you'll just get a mark. So make sure you know that it's caused by pathogens and the pathogens are there for you: bacteria, protist, virus, fungus. And a non-communicable disease then is one that cannot be spread between organisms and is therefore not caused by pathogens. So make sure you've got those definitions written down and make sure that you can get those 2 marks if that comes up in an exam. Okay, moving on. What I'd like you to do now, please, is jot down this table. So communicable on one side of the table, non-communicable on the other. And we are going to look at different diseases, and I'd like you to write down whether you think they're communicable or non-communicable, and we will go through each one as we go along. Okay, so the first one is a cold sore. So some of these images may not be nice to look at, but you do need to be aware of the impact of these pathogens, or sometimes not pathogens if it's a non-communicable disease. So cold sore, please write in the communicable or non-communicable column. Okay, so a cold sore is a communicable disease. It is passed from organism to organism and it is caused by pathogens. Next one, anemia. Okay, anemia is non-communicable. It is to do with red blood cells. It's to do with the oxygen being carried around your body, and it isn't something that can be passed on. It is not caused by pathogens, and therefore it is non-communicable. Next one, ringworm. So ringworm is communicable. It is actually caused by a fungus. Next one, common cold. Okay, the common cold is communicable. It is caused by a virus and it can be passed from organism to organism. Next one, sore throat or tonsillitis. Again, this is communicable. It can be passed on and it is caused by pathogens. Next one, food poisoning. Food poisoning is communicable and it is caused by pathogens such as salmonella. The next one, lung cancer. Okay, so lung cancer is non-communicable. It cannot be passed on, it cannot be spread, it isn't contagious. It is not caused by pathogens. It can be, your risk of getting lung cancer can be increased due to smoking, but some people get lung cancer, unfortunately, anyway. Okay, so cancer as a whole is non-communicable. It is not something that can be passed on. Pneumonia. Pneumonia is also a communicable disease. Red-green colour blindness. Remember, you should be writing these into the right column in your books or on paper. That is non-communicable. This is to do with your genes. So if you are red-green colourblind, it is because of genes that you have inherited from your parents. Mumps. Mumps is communicable. It can be passed on from person to person and it is caused by pathogens. Scurvy. Scurvy is actually non-communicable and it is caused by vitamin C deficiency. If you have done this in history, you may have found out that this was often associated with years and years and years ago with people who would go out to sea for a long time because they wouldn't be able to get enough vitamin C and they would lose their teeth, they will get pale skin, sunken eyes, but this is non-communicable. Okay, the next picture, you may want to look away. It is athlete's foot. And this is caused by a fungus and therefore it is communicable. It can be passed from person to person. And it is caused by a pathogen. The next one is a mental health illness, depression. This is non-communicable. It isn't caused by pathogens. It cannot spread. Malaria. Malaria is communicable, is caused by a protist. Diabetes. Okay, so diabetes is non-communicable. It is either genetic or it can be caused. Diabetes type 2 can be due to lifestyle when you get older, but it's non-communicable. Okay, so you do need to know an example of each of the diseases caused by each type of pathogen. So please can you draw this table? Type of pathogen needs to go in this column. So fungus, bacteria, protist and virus. And see if you can match up the other 4 diseases. So athlete's foot, influenza, TB, tuberculosis and malaria should go in the right hand column. Pause the screencast and have a go. Okay, so hopefully your table looks like this. Bacterial infection causes TB or tuberculosis. Fungi causes athlete's foot. A virus causes the flu. And protist causes malaria. So make sure you've got those correct and make sure you can name an example of each. Okay, so we're now going to look at how these pathogens get into your body. So there's 4 examples there that I'd like you to write down, please. So first one is through the respiratory system, so through the nose and the mouth. That's why in the current climate it is really important that we wear masks that cover both our nose and our mouth to stop the virus, particularly at the moment, COVID, getting into our mouth, getting up our nose into our respiratory system. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is through cuts in the skin. So you can get infections if you've got a little cut, or if you have been bitten by an insect or an animal. That can then be another way by which pathogens can get into your body. Another way is through the digestive system. So if you drink water that isn't clean, or if you eat food that has gone off or hasn't been cooked properly, it can get through your mouth into your digestive system. And the last one is through the reproductive system. So if somebody has unprotected sex, so sexual intercourse without using a condom, then pathogens can get into the reproductive system and into the body that way. Okay, so there is a question there, why do communicable diseases spread quickly in schools? And that is because there's a large amount of people in quite a small area. So that is why, colds and other diseases that are caused by pathogens do spread quickly in schools, because people are really close together. Okay, and therefore the disease can spread quite quickly. Okay, so moving on, we are now going to look at why you feel poorly when microorganisms enter your body. Now, there is a delay between them entering your body and you feeling unwell. That is what we call the incubation period. Now, during that time, a few things are happening that will then lead to you feeling poorly. So the first one is that the microorganisms will reproduce rapidly. So a few will get in and then they will reproduce, so there'll be more and more and more of them. They will also grow. Okay, so not only are they reproducing, but they're growing. And the part that makes you feel poorly is the fact that they produce toxins and they produce toxic waste products that make you feel poorly, which cause you to have a fever and rashes and sores on your body. So please make sure you know that pathogens release toxins into your body that make you feel unwell. Okay. Now, here's an image showing somebody who has got a lot of protective gear on. So a surgical cap, goggles, face shield, medical mask, overalls, rubber shoes, apron, double gloves, respirator. All of these things will help this person from getting the disease that obviously they're trying to treat people for at the moment. So we are now going to look at different ways by which we can stop the spread of pathogens. Okay, so the first one, please make sure you write each one of these down. Cover your nose or your mouth when you sneeze, and obviously then get rid of the tissue and sanitize your hands. The next one would be not touching infected people or objects. We now know about social distancing, so actually keeping your social distance from somebody and definitely not touching the infected person or the object can reduce the risk of the spread. The next one is using condoms. So if somebody is going to have sexual intercourse, condoms are the only way by which pathogen spread can be stopped. There are other ways that people can stop getting pregnant, which is called contraception, but this is the only type of contraception that will also stop the spread of disease. The next one is washing your hands or sanitizing your hands before eating or preparing food. So make sure in an exam that you talk about washing your hands before eating or preparing food, not just washing your hands. You need to say it's before you are going to eat something or before you are going to do some cooking. The next one is to cook food properly, so make sure that all food is cooked and the instructions are followed, so that bacteria such as E. coli or salmonella, which can cause food poisoning, are absolutely killed, so that they don't get into our bodies and reproduce and produce those toxins that make us feel poorly. The next one, we're lucky enough in this country to have clean water, but untreated water does contain microorganisms that can make us really poorly. Now, like I've said, we are very lucky here to have clean water, in a tap. We can drink water at our leisure, but some countries are not fortunate enough to have that. And the last one is to protect yourself from animal bites using insect repellent. So that will stop, for example, the mosquitoes in certain countries from biting you and therefore spreading the disease. Okay. Right, so we're going to end this health and disease screencast by a true or false. Pause the screencast. Okay, hopefully you've had a go. And if you haven't corrected the incorrect ones, please make sure you do before you listen to the answers. Okay. So number 1, a communicable disease is a disease caused by a pathogen. That is true. Number 2, tuberculosis is a disease caused by a fungus. That is false. TB is caused by a bacteria. Number 3, non-communicable diseases are not caused by microorganisms. That is true. An example of a non-communicable disease is malaria. That is false. A non-communicable disease would be red-green colour blindness, diabetes, scurvy, cancer. And number 5, a person in good health is free from disease. That is true. Okay, that is the end of this screencast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.